On today's episode, I'm going to talk about social ads or meta ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, and the goal of those ads.
Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am recording this on Sunday afternoon. I feel like I'm finally recovered from traveling. I will say that the last 2 days I've woken up with the worst headache in the world. I feel like it's a caffeine problem, but I digress. Going from East to West Coast is kind of super jarring for my body because I get used to having coffee a little bit earlier. And then when I'm at a conference-esque thing, I'm basically drinking coffee all day long. So yeah, I woke up not feeling great, but feeling much better today. So I want to talk. So I will say that I never actually, what am I doing? I need to do business and life first. So business updates, life updates. Let's do those first. Just got back from traveling to New York City with Anna of Movement Rev. We had a great time. I got to explore a little bit of New York City. I will say that if I go back, I have no interest in going to Midtown, Times Square, etc. I don't want to go there. So if I end up going back, I would like to stay out of that area completely and go to Greenwich Village, go to Brooklyn, just not in the touristy areas. It was much calmer when we left the touristy Midtown section, and I think I would have enjoyed it if I spent time there. So anyway, that's really my quick and dirty, how New York City was. I enjoyed spending time with Anna, and I think that we really did make some progress on what needs to come next and what we want to do and all that jazz. We're traveling shortly to see my parents. I don't know if we're bringing Moose yet. We'll see, but flights are booked and flights are incredibly expensive to go to the rural America and in the middle of June, or not even the middle of June. Flights were just insane. And then I should look at my countdown. We're headed to Switzerland shortly too. Officially 49 days from now. So that's really exciting. I am just honestly crossing my fingers that our flights will be good. Air travel is honestly one of those things that just makes me so nervous because, if you have multiple legs, the first leg getting messed up, then messes up everything else. And I don't know. I hate air travel. Is just so unpredictable in so many different ways. But the one way that we do make it predictable is by only using carry-ons. I do think that's a huge controllable. So luckily, that's always how we travel. So that won't be a concern. And if, something ends up moving, we'll always have our bags, which is really nice. But just hoping everything gets, we all get there safely and easily and on time, etc. I feel like that was all, that was the big stuff. My hand massager that I bought from Sharper Image is lovely. I will tell you that my hands feel much better. I'm able to, just put it on while I'm watching TV, and it's honestly just like the Normatec boots, and it feels so nice on my hand. My right thumb is just at the end of last week, I was having twitching in my thumb, and it's been so frustrating. I should be doing nerve glides and such, as Anna mentioned, and I should not be starting at my thumb. I should be starting at my liver, etc. And I have not done that yet. So I cannot say that I'm doing everything I possibly can do, but going to note that and do that today because still working with Betsy Foster. So I'll be doing that before I do my lift and what have you. But yeah, that's all the good stuff. Everything else is same old realistically, which is always a good thing. Business stuff, no big updates. I am writing out the entire Google Ads protocol for the course that I'm recording, and I'm writing it out so that I can film it accordingly and essentially just make it like a task list. I'm telling you right now, it's so difficult for me to film a course without going deep into like all the ifs, ands, buts of things, which is, I didn't realize how hard it was for me to do that. So it's going slowly, blatantly honest, like it's going slowly. I don't know when it's going to come out. And I'm taking the pressure off of it, because the more pressure I put on myself, it's not going to work the way that it typically would. I just need to get everything written out and finished, and then I can finish filming. I already did start filming, but I need to get my protocol written out so that way I can, put it out and do it all at once, I guess, and just check the boxes, if you will. With all of that being said, I'm thinking business stuff. I said it last week, and I feel like I don't know exactly who is, I can't see obviously who listens to the podcast, but if you're listening and you are looking to work with me one-to-one, just recognize that I am honestly in a place right now where I might be saying I'm not taking new clients and like put a hard stop on it, except for website design, and I'm booking into August. So I'm just at a point right now where managing and going back and forth with people like potential clients is actually a big time suck. And I don't have space anyway right now. So I'm thinking about taking time to just be like, I'm not taking new clients. Here's a wait list and I can email you when it's ready. I'm not sure. Again, like these are all things that I'm going back and forth on and like how I want to handle it. But just recognize that if you're trying to meet with me and you're doing a one-off call, my business has drastically changed since 2021, 2020, 2022, even 2023. My business has done a 180 as far as like what I'm available for. So I used to have all Tuesday and all Thursday available for coaching calls, and that's not the case anymore. So I do book out, especially for people who are not actively working with me. So if you are actively working with me, you always have more time available to book. If you're not an active client, someone who I'm, actively communicating with or scheduled with, you have less opportunity to work with me, because that just means it's a new patient, if you will, as a PT. So just recognize that is the case. I know that my availability is low and what I have online is there. And I'm so appreciative of everyone who wants to work with me. And, genuinely, I have never been more sure that I have no interest in hiring anyone. So just for what it's worth, I have never been more sure. Like I've always been sure, but I am certainly sure at this point. And it just is what it is. In order for me to, be happy and feel fulfilled in this, I don't want to work from 6 to 6 from Monday through Friday. And so everything is adjusted accordingly. And I'm so grateful to be able to set the hours that I want, but I do recognize like emotionally, it does take a toll on me in a different way, just because I'm not able to help everyone. And I know as a PT or as a movement professional, you likely have felt the same way at some point in time. And it's just like, when you can't help everyone, it's a different type of emotional toll. And I am working on ways to help people without it being one-to-one, hence the Google Ads course, because I have a problem with the misinformation being spewed. And the best way to complain is to make something. So I am creating something to, fill that gap. But just know that, emotionally, it's not easy for me to say that I don't have availability. And that's just, a business ownership thing that I have been trying to embrace. So that's all I really have for you. I'm looking at my calendar and just cannot believe that we're at May 10th already as of today. It's just absolutely insane how fast time goes. Also, for those who listen to the podcast, I'm probably gonna be openly talking about this on socials and such at some point, but I have officially hired what I would call like a one-to-one mentor. I've been looking for this forever for ads, social ads. Realistically, it's really just for social ads. Because I took a course and I took, another course. One course was much better than the other one, in my opinion, as far as like how I want to implement strategy. And I'm getting really great results. But I also believe that I really do believe that if I'm able to work one-on-one with someone and get coaching, so example, like any physical therapist who has had mentorship with someone else, or you take a continuing ed course and you get one-on-one time with somebody, I believe that is a huge dial mover. And for me, like I hold myself to a standard that is, it can be tough just because I leave myself very little room to not be really good. And I understand, like, I actually don't think it's I don't want to suck at something. Like, that's never I get it. You can't be great in the beginning. You're going to stumble a little bit and then you're going to figure things out and it'll be great in the long run. But I had a standard that I wanted to be at before I was, actively managing ad clients. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I just want to get really effing good at this. So I have hired somebody to be my mentor. It's a one-on-one mentorship. And I'm so excited because that's so far and few between. And I trust the person and I trust the people who referred me to them. So I am not actively saying anything now, but just recognize that I'm really excited about this, and it's going to be another slice of my business in the future. Hence why I just have limited space. I am investing time into myself at this point and like really trying to grow my skills. Even if, and I said this to someone else, I was like, even if I don't end up enjoying it, I would rather be really good at something and then understand, like, actually, I don't like doing this, and then deciding not to add it. And then, and I haven't talked to, there's a couple of things that I need to figure out in my like business/personal side of things, but I haven't actively expressed this to someone, but I have an idea in my head of like a long-term plan, and I don't know, lots of moving parts, but all of that to say, that today's episode really ties into like what I'm going to be talking about as far as ads go. And I'm just excited about it. I'm really excited to, put some things into place here and work with someone one-to-one to really get the mentorship that I want. And so that I can be really good at what I want to do and, offer a service that is what I would like to call, just top notch. Like I hold myself to that standard, and that's exactly where I'm holding myself to with this new skill. And I think there's so much value in having someone who can help me get there even faster and better and. So anyway, just really, really excited about that. So stay tuned. I'll probably share along the way. It's a 6-month long mentorship. So it's really fun for me. I'm just really pumped. Okay. So I feel like that's everything. I say that's everything. I know it's definitely not, but that's everything I want to touch on now. And then let's talk about, ads. So what I'm going to talk about today is something that it sparked my mind when I was at this, business mentorship group that I went to with Anna. And, the conversation of ads was coming up. And I don't know, I recognize that my perspective is very, I don't think it's different. I'm just like very outward with the fact that like you can't control human behavior, and like you're working with humans at the end of the day. It's almost like if you have someone with knee pain come in and you say, yes, I can help your knee pain, but you don't know for sure most times exactly how many visits it's going to take to make their knee pain go away or to get them back to where they want to be. You can have an estimation, most people 6 to 8, but you don't have like this like A plus B equals C, because you're dealing with a human, and like that's totally normal. It's the same thing with, SEO, Google ads, meta ads, and I do plan to record an entire episode on that because I think it's really important to understand. But when it comes to what I want to talk about today is meta ads and Facebook, Instagram ads, and like give my thoughts around what we're doing and what success really looks like. And yeah, I think that's really where I want to focus. So here's the thing. When we talk about meta ads, Instagram, Facebook ads, if you will, just so you know what that meta ads means. When we talk about those ads, they are different than something like a Google ad. The reason they're different is because meta ads are interruption marketing. So when you're scrolling Instagram, ads pop up into your feed. You're not actively looking for something, but things will pop up in front of you and say, here's an ad. Google ads pop up when you're actively looking for something. So whether it's a service or a type of business, that's when you'll see a Google ad. Okay. So that is the biggest difference is meta ads pop up when you're not actively searching for something. Google ads will pop up when you're actively searching for something. Now you might be saying, well, meta ads also show up after I talk about a certain service or I go to someone's website, what have you. Yes, exactly. However, at the moment that you are scrolling Instagram and liking your friends' posts, you're not actively looking for something. You're just trying to enjoy Instagram. That's why it's interruption marketing. So when you run Instagram ads and Facebook meta ads, number one, boosted posts are not the same thing. So just so we're aware of that, I did an episode on that, but boosted posts are not the same as meta ads, and they often perform much worse. Boosted posts are basically Meta's way of saying, hey, I'm going to let you run an ad without actually having an ad set up. And I'm going to let you think you're running an ad, but it's really just a way for Meta to get you to pay a bunch of money and then not have as much reach as a typical ad would have. So for what it's worth, boosted posts are not the same. But when you run a legit Facebook Meta ad, Instagram ad through the Meta Business Manager, when you run these ads, you have to have a goal of some sort. So we've all experienced it. You scroll to an ad pops up. They're typically asking you to do a couple of things, a couple of different things. One could be insert your email to get a freebie. 2 could be buy this low ticket course. 3 could just be, here's who I am and get to know me and like maybe follow me. Another one could just be, check out my website to learn more about this service. Sometimes it's like opt into this free week course, something like that, right? So the way that you measure success on the back end of ads, if you are the person running the ad, is you will say, okay, my goal, and I'm just going to pick on one of them. My goal is to get people to download this free guide. All right. So to download the free guide, they have to put their first name and their email in, and then the free guide gets sent to them. That's the only thing we'll talk about. Now, when we talk about that and what that is called is when someone does the thing, that's called a conversion. So that means that your ad popped up in front of someone, they took action, and they did the thing you want them to do. All right. Now, another example would be a low ticket course or something like that. And you put an ad out, someone buys your course. So again, ad pops up. They have the ad in front of them to buy this specific low ticket course. They take action. They click the button. They go to your sales page. They buy the course. That's one conversion. All right. So one of the topics that I find that is a little bit sticky, if you will, is success with ads. Now, success with ads is one of those things where it's like I'm waving my hands in the air and like being like success with ads. Like it's a whole bucket and it's a whole like can of worms to open. It's Pandora's box, if you will. But what I think in what landed with someone I was talking to a couple at the event that I was a guest at. And what landed with them was what I had said about success with ads, because people will be like, my ads aren't successful. And when I hear my ads aren't successful, my first question is, why do you think they're not successful? Like, because if an ad is not successful, what that means is that you're putting an ad in front of people and no one is doing anything with it. Or you're putting an ad in front of someone and the wrong people are opting in. That's a different problem So that can be fixed with, the messaging side of things, of what type of ad are you putting in front of people? What does the landing page say? What are you actually offering? All of that can be fixed as far as like the wrong type of person opting in. But when it comes to, are my ads successful? Here's how I boil it down. I boil it down into literally one-ish sentence. You are offering someone something via interruption marketing. They are not looking for something when this ad pops up on their feed. So if they take action and give you their email or buy something from you, your ad was successful. That's it. So that's literally all it is. At face value, if someone takes action on the ad that you put in front of them, that ad is successful. Now, what you may be thinking is like, well, how successful is it? Well, let's, numbers wise, if you're just putting a freebie in front of someone, you're trying to get subscribers. So if you're getting more people on your email list, and whatever cost that is, that's where you have to decide like how much are you willing to pay to get more subscribers on your email list. Now, all of this stuff can be changed based on the ad creative that you're putting in front of people, which includes the pictures, the videos, the captions, etc. All of that can be changed. But when it comes down to ads, I think one of the biggest things that people mix up here is what success actually means. And as long as that ad it's interruption marketing, again, is popping up in front of someone and someone is doing what you want them to do, that ad is successful. But it's one more step after that I think people are really looking for. It's how successful is it? And when we talk about how successful is it, there are many things to think about when it comes to that. Number one, it can be what's the quality of the person that I'm getting. 2, who am I actually getting? 3, do they do something afterward? Do they come into my ecosystem and then buy, or do they don't? Like, that is where I think people get a little bit stuck. And I think oftentimes if you're putting some sort of low ticket offer in front of someone on an ad, you don't always have to spend 2x the amount of the offer type. I have had great success with spending a lot less money for a low ticket offer and then seeing how it performs. Like, I've genuinely had decent success with that already, like really great success with that. So, I think just understanding how to make that ad work, quote unquote, work, and after people opt in for you can be altered by the messaging side of things, what you're actually putting behind ads. Like, all of that is what comes into play, right? So I'm not trying to boil down, do ads work or do your ads work or do they not work, by just saying like, if people do the thing, they work. But I also need everyone to, like, if you're ever thinking about running ads, to know that if you're interrupting someone's scroll and they stop, they read your ad, and then they do what you want them to do, whether it's buy something or opt into your email list, based on the messaging that they see, then your ad itself was successful. It's just the next step of how successful is it? Who am I getting? What happens next? Like, that piece is the next step. But when it comes down to like, are my ads working or are they not working? Well, are people doing the thing? If they are, cool. That means your ad is working. Now we can really, bring it together and say, well, how can we make it work better? If your ad's not working, that means you need to take a look at the ad creative, the caption that you're putting in front of people, or the landing page that you're putting in front of people. It can really be as simple as that. And like, thinking about it as interruption marketing. Your people are not looking for what you're offering them. So if they take a look and then they do the thing you're asking them to do, that's a win. And like, that is definitely a win. And I think people look to, for lack of better terms, I will say, like, I personally wouldn't do a ton of free stuff. Like, I don't want to throw a freebie behind ads and like have it just be a free guide. It's got to be something else. But people will throw a freebie in front of people and then pay a ass ton of money for, leads. And don't get me wrong. If you have money to spend, that's fine. But also you can't expect a huge ROI on that because you're putting a free guide in front of people. How many times have you downloaded a free guide, right? And then just not done anything with it or not taken action and worked with the person afterward. And like, again, that all comes down to what you put in front of people and why I really like low ticket items and not free stuff. But when you're paying for you're paying for each lead, it does make a difference as far as like, well, if I have this opt-in here and all of these people filled it out and it's all people that are not my ideal client, then yeah, you got to look into that. But at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things that you have to really boil everything down to is if you put an ad in front on social media and someone is scrolling, your ad pops up, they stop their scroll, they do the thing you want them to do, then that is successful. And that's a really great jumping point for what to do next and how to feel about it. And like, it really does help you control the emotions around, well, is it good? Is it bad? How's it doing? How good? How bad? And just understanding that you can change all of that stuff. But the first step is making sure that what you have to offer is something that people want. And if they're doing the thing, that means you have step one covered, right? You just can't expect to make $1 million off a free ad. And then one other thing that I feel like I'll just toss in here is just figuring out stats, right? So I'll talk way more about this at the end, like down the road here. But when it comes to like figuring out different statistics in regard to your ads, example, X person opted in via an ad and then they bought from me 10 months from now, or X person opted in for the ad and they bought, 2 days from now, or they bought right away. One of the coolest pieces of advice that I got from Claire Pelletreau, the course that I took was through Claire. One of the best pieces of advice / coaching I got from her was that stats and tracking things is only as valuable as the data that you're going to be implementing and doing something with. So example, if you're going to be tracking a bunch of stuff and like getting all this data, if you're not going to do anything with that data, it doesn't really matter. If we boil it down to that, right? So I do think it's important to think about, because sometimes people get so obsessed with the data as far as like, this person opted in now and then they bought 10 days from now, but they didn't buy this thing. And like, you have all this data floating around, and that can be helpful, but it also can be kind of hard, because sometimes, especially at this point in time in 2026, a sales cycle is so long that someone could opt into an ad today and then not buy from you for a year. So sure, the data is helpful, but it's also great to know that like, once someone is in your ecosystem, you have to have the trust that you provide enough value outside of the ad that someone opted into to get people results and to get people to trust you and then potentially buy from you in the future or refer other people to you. And like, that's what you can do and what you can control. And that's part of the thing. It's like, if you intake all this data or you have all this data, what pieces of that data can you actually control? And you can't really control much other than the content that you're putting out, how often you're putting it out, how much you're helping someone, your values, all that stuff. Those are your controllables. Those are the things that you can really control. But you can't control that someone took 180 days to buy. Like, you can't control how much money they have, when they become interested, when they have the time. Like, that's totally out of your control. So sure, you can have all this data, having this massive data set. You certainly can. But then you have to figure out, like, what am I actually doing with this data, and does it really matter? And then again, just going back to the fact that you're using interruption marketing to get in front of people. And typically it's people that don't already know you. So if you're doing that, then just expect that you're going to have to take, it's going to take time, one, but then two, if someone is seeing what you're offering and then doing the task that you want them to do, whether it's opt-in or buy, then you've done your job. And that is success. And then it just depends on the next step of how successful do you need it to be or want it to be, as far as what can we now tailor to make the leads better, or to, get in front of different people, or to make sure that someone's doing something after they do the first thing that you have them do. So just making sure we can really dial in the end result rather than is it working or is it not working? And then really just understanding that this is interruption marketing. People aren't looking for you. So if they do something, like that should feel really good. Like they were that interested. They took the time to do something and they weren't looking for it. So, which is really cool about social media ads as well. All right. I feel like that's all I've got for you. Ended up being a little bit longer to discuss that today than I planned. But if you've ever thought about meta ads, just know that that's one of the easiest ways to think about it. And also I do find that to be pretty freeing, to feel like this is interruption marketing. Your people are not looking for you and you're shoving your information in their face, and you can't expect every single person to say yes. And that's why, the messaging around everything is really important, and also to control your own expectations and emotions around working/not working, and, embracing the attitude of, as long as they're doing the thing, it's successful. And now I just get to tailor things to make it better if necessary. All right, friends, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next time.